Good morning, Refuge. We are so glad that you're choosing to be a part of this today, this Devo, or whether morning or lunch, evening, whatever you're doing when you're watching this. We have a special Zoom today. We've got a guest, Chris Elliott. Chris
So
Elliott's
guys,
one of our leaders, and I'll just let him introduce himself, let you know more about him.
yeah, so like Bobby said, I'm Chris Elliott. I'm the eighth grade guys, one of the eighth grade guys leaders. This is my third year working Refuge. My first 2 years were with the high school kids, and now I have the privilege to be able to work with the eighth graders who are a lot of fun. My wife Molly, she helps out in Refuge with some of the high school girls as well. I'm the athletic trainer for the SFA men's basketball team. So it was a little bit of a bummer our season ended, so I was excited to get back and being able to see all the kids at Refuge. But obviously with this uh, coronavirus, this plan got a little bit changed, which is a bummer, but happy to be here and be able to talk this way.
Cool, man. Well, what some of you may or may not know about Chris that he didn't say in introducing himself is that he's actually an amateur magician. And so I said, hey, to start out, would you mind sharing with us a magic trick? So he's got something prepared for us, and you're going to keep a keen eye, pay attention to this. But Chris, take it away.
All right. And Bobby said amateur. I would put the big emphasis on amateur. So I got a deck of cards. Bobby's actually going to help me with this trick. I'm going to move the camera down. Hopefully this works to like right there. Sweet. All right. So I'm just going to have Bobby pick. So all decks of cards comes in sets of four. So there's going to be like 4 sevens, 4 kings, stuff like that. So I want Bobby to pick. He's going to pick 4 different sets for me.
All right. So just 4, like if I say 2s,
Perfect.
5, Jack, and Queen.
All right. So Bobby goes 2, 5, jacks, and queens. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to find all the 2s. I'm just going to put them out on the table right in front of you. All right, so like that. Then you said 5s.
5s, yep.
Perfect. All right. Find all the 5s. All the 5s are going out. And then you said jack and queen, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. We're going to put all the jacks right there. And then finishing up, we'll put all the queens right here. Perfect. All right. So get rid of the deck. We don't need those other cards anymore. Then I'm just going to flip these decks over. So they're going to go face down right here. And then we're going to label these decks with numbers. So we're going to go, this one's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So pick which deck.
1.
1. All right. So I'm going to grab 1, hold it right here. 2, 3, or 4.
4.
4. All right. Do you want this one to go on top or on bottom?
Top.
Top. All right. So 2 or 3?
3.
3. Right. All right. So do you want this one to go on top or bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom. All righty. And then deck number 2, where do you want this one to go?
Top.
Top. All right, perfect. So we got a full deck right here of all the cards that Bobby picked. So I'm just going to put that down. I'm just going to cut it in 2 a couple times, all right? So here, just kind of grabbing different place in the deck every time. Now, Bobby, do you want to cut it or leave it like it is right now?
Cut it.
All right, I'm going to thumb through the deck and you just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Right there. All right, so is that where you want it right there?
Totally.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to take that part, cut it up on top, and that's it. Do you want to do that again or leave it the way it is?
One more time.
One more time. All right, so I'm going to thumb through.
Stop.
Right there. All right.
Yep.
So cut it again. I'm going to leave it like that. All right. So you
Perfect.
chose, I shuffled it, then you shuffled it. There wasn't really any way I can control that, correct?
As far as I know.
All right. So now I'm just going to deal these cards back out. All right. So while I'm dealing out, remind everybody what the 4 sets of cards that you picked were.
It was 2s, fives, jacks, and queens.
Correct. And they were all shuffled up. They were all in different piles. But what if I told you that you actually did the trick here? When you shuffled them up, you put them all grouped together in the exact same piles.
What? I don't even know how you did that.
Bobby was actually the magician in this one.
Yeah, I'm even more amateur than Chris. I don't even know it. Oh my gosh.
That's it.
Wow. I feel like I need to host my own show or something.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel after this.
Oh, wow. Well, that was great. And I feel like that let us know a little bit about you and apparently a little about me too. But I would love now to kind of introduce your story and for you to tell us a little bit more about Chris, but just kind of growing up, your home life, being in Nashville, what that was like.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. I lived there literally my whole life until about 3.5 years ago when I moved out to Nacogdoches for grad school. But I grew up, I was in a decently big family. There were 5 of us. I had 2 brothers, 2 sisters. Both my parents were incredible parents, really good walk with the Lord. I'm the 4th out of 5, so I had 3 older siblings, 1 younger siblings. All of them live really good Christ-led relationships with the Lord. And so I'd always been around Christianity, always been around church, read the Bible. And I remember when I was about 8 years old was when I felt like I wanted to be baptized and commit my life to the Lord. And I still remember like the day I had like this burning feeling, and I really felt like the Lord like clearly telling me, like the Holy Spirit, that it was time for me to be baptized. So my mom was gone at the grocery store, and I called her and kind of told her what was going on. And so she was excited. I talked to my dad; he was excited. So that later that week, my dad actually baptized me in a river that kind of ran through our property there, which is kind of cool.
So cool.
And so, I mean, that was a really cool, neat experience. And then the older I grew, I feel like my walk with the Lord kind of became more of a checklist. Like it was more of like me being a good person as opposed to me having like a personal relationship with the Lord. And so it was like I was doing all good things, but it was just like a checklist. Like I was reading my Bible, check, and then kind of threw it away. And I was praying, check, and then didn't really focus on it. And so it was all more like reaching goals as opposed to having a personal relationship with the Lord.
Sure.
And I was pretty good at basketball in high school. Had a chance to go play in college in basketball. Basketball is huge in my family. My dad played in college. My older brother played in college. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to be successful in basketball, and I was decent at it. And I was actually able to get a full scholarship to play in college, which was awesome. But through that, basketball became almost an idol in my life, and my whole identity as opposed to being in the Lord got put in basketball. And so near the end of high school and beginning of college, I tell people I kind of wore God like I wore a suit. You only wear suits. Most people only wear suits at funerals and weddings, like celebration and when times are really hard. And that's when I kind of pulled them out. Was when things were going good, I was like, oh, thanks God for that. And then when things were bad, I was praying like, oh, God, I need you. But the times in between when I felt like I was good on my own, are just kind of like, oh, I got this. And then basketball just kind of became my identity and my success as a person and who I was as a person depended solely on how successful I was as a basketball player. And then what I thought was unfortunately at the time, but looking back now, is a huge blessing. I had 2 seasons in a row where I was just riddled with a bunch of different really bad injuries. And so basketball literally got taken completely away from me. And it was filling a big part of my life. And so it was a part of my life that the Lord should have been filling, but unfortunately wasn't at the time. So that got pulled out, and I felt like my identity was completely gone. I was kind of lost and not making some good decisions. And then going into my senior year, I was actually able to go on a trip with Athletes in Action. And God really used that really as a turning point in my life. One of the things that we had to read certain little devotions while we were over there, and one of the devotions we were reading, one of the lines that I read said, when a good thing becomes a God thing, it becomes a bad thing. And that just really clicked in my head. Like, basketball was good and it was a really good gift that God gave me, but I turned basketball into a God, and it became a bad thing in my life. And so that really opened my eyes. And since then, I mean, it completely, when I was going through those injuries, I was looking at this like, God, like, why are you doing this to me almost? And now I'm able to look back and see that even though I was going through a tough time, like, God was still able to use that to really kind of turn me back and focus me on him.
Yeah, that's so, I think that's something that's easy for all of us to do. Not only just like being, making Jesus Lord of your life at a young age, but then kind of skewing maybe what that means as far as being good and checklists. I think all of us can understand that, and then to replace God with good things and turn those things into idols. So
I mean, it can not everybody loves sports. You know, it could be grades, it could be music. I mean, I know whatever it is, it's like God gives you gifts and use them, obviously. But I mean, it's human nature to be able to put more of a focus on those stuff and let that kind of give you your identity.
Yeah, you kind of just, where's its proper place. But cool that the Lord revealed that to you and showed you kind of that conviction in your own heart. But so now, like, as a believer and saying, okay, man, I want to be doing everything the Lord calls me to do, it's still not going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect. So when you find yourself in those times, we'd just love to wrap up with, like, what is a place you go to, a verse, a story, something that the Lord shows you when things are hard, that he is faithful even when we're not.
Yeah, one of the verses I always go back to is Genesis, talking about Abraham and Isaac, how the Lord came to Abraham and asked him to offer his son Isaac as an offering, and told him to climb up the mountain and offer him as a sacrifice on top of the mountain. And just Abraham's willingness to do it, and Isaac trusting his dad and trusting the Lord as well. And I was like, I can't imagine how tough that was. Both of them climbing a mountain. Like, climbing a mountain isn't fun, just like if you're doing it just for fun. But doing it to, like, sacrifice your son, like, I can't imagine that feeling. But they just trusted that the Lord is in control. And they get to the top of the mountain, the Lord provides a ram and to offer instead. And, you know, it's comforting to me to know that no matter what you're going through, like, God's hand is over you the whole time. He's going to provide for you. And I think especially now, there's so much uncertainty just with what's going on in the world right now. It's easy to kind of step back and be fearful of what's going on. And then, but to me, like, through this time, it's been really comforting, kind of going back to that story and reading, and just knowing that this God was the same to Abraham and Isaac as he is to us right now. And so no matter kind of what's going on, he's going to provide for us.
Yeah, just super appropriate for right now. So, man, Chris, we appreciate it. Thanks for not only just the magic trick, but sharing your story for us to get to know you better, and just also to talk about how the Lord encourages you in times right now. So we appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me. I miss you guys. Can't wait till we're all able to get together again.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all later, Refuge, next week. Have a good one.